Today's guest is a fellow entrepreneur, storyteller, and award-winning business owner. He is the creative force behind FXV Digital Design, which recently took top honors right alongside American Crane at the 2025 Greater Reading Chamber Business Excellence Awards. He knows what it means to lift a brand, a business, and a vision from the ground up. His journey is all heart, hustle, and honesty. Freddy Vasquez, welcome to Always Lifting.
Thanks for having me, Karen. That was a great intro. I need you to write all of my intros and my bios.
Well, yeah, you have your own podcast, right? Yourself. So Thanks for taking the time to switch sides of the mic.
Always.
And join me. And also, shout out, thank you to our amazing space. We're not only, you're a guest on my show, but also we're a guest in your building. You've created this space where we can use it and other customers can use it. So thank you. This is awesome.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for using it. It's cool. You guys made it look really cool, man. So I dig it.
It's fun and exciting to see it actually come together.
Right on.
So I love on your website how you have your title, Founder and Big G's.
Yeah.
I love that, and I can tell the entrepreneurial spirit just from being here in the building with your people and having the pleasure to work with some of them. Can you just tell us about the journey of lifting your business literally into existence?
Holy cow, man! That's it's been, how much time do we got? Right? It was honestly it came out of necessity. Really what happened was, I did the college thing. I went to school. I first started working in the music business. That was initially what I did. I worked in New York City, Manhattan, 57th
Nice.
Street. It was great. It's my hometown. And Napster came out. If anybody remembers Napster,
Oh yeah.
they came out and a lot of the new kids got let go.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was, kind of like flabbergasted by the whole thing, and that's when I went back to retail. I started just working in retail, working at a music store called Sam Goody. Anybody
I remember Sam Goody too.
Yeah.
Speaking my generation.
Yes, I worked there for a while, and then we realized, Jill was, my fiance at the time. We realized New York's too expensive. We got to make a move. So we were set up with the jobs in Florida. So we had jobs in Florida. I left in October of 2008. 2 weeks after we got down there, place closed.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm in Florida. I got, Jill. We got our daughters to think about. 1 year lease. What do you do? And she said, maybe you should try doing this graphic design stuff that you did on the side for real. And I was like, oh, really? I never thought of it that way. I always did it as a favor for friends, or when I was in a band, I used to make, our cassette covers and all those things, flyers. So she took a crappy job, and I ended up doing MySpace pages. That was my big thing back then.
Nice.
For bands. And we got into this groove where we started asking huge bands if they wanted their pages done for free. And it worked in the beginning. And we finally got high enough where we did a really huge band called Five Finger Death Punch. We did their MySpace, and then everybody wanted us to do them.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of actually getting paid to do this work that I did for fun.
That's a great alignment of pulling together something that you loved into actually doing it. And sometimes these moments where we have huge transition on our lives are not exactly planned for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the taking a challenge and a struggle and a situation and finding a way to turn it into an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's something that I'm very proud of, obviously trying, making cash out of MySpace designs, but again, when you have, a future wife and 2 kids, what are you going to do? And then for me personally, it's 2 daughters. So I got 2 daughters and a wife.
Yeah.
I'm old school. My dad was the same way. So I'm I'm a man. I got to take care of my ladies, so I figured it out. Then a year into that, we left. We figured that we couldn't be so far away from home. My wife loves doing research, did a ton of research, found this place called Wyomissing, Pennsylvania with a good school district. And we moved up here, and that's when I learned the power of networking. I never really knew much about networking. I think networking is probably one of the biggest reasons as to where we are today. Just meeting people and letting people know who you are, what you're about. what you can do for them, and of course branding. So doing the hardcore networking for, geez, I mean, all those years definitely helped, you know. But the funny thing is, my business was doing pretty well, and one of my clients was like, hey, I need you on my payroll. And I was like, no, I don't want to go on your payroll. I got my own business to run. She's like, I need you on my payroll. I was like, can't do it. She's like, come on, what's the number? So I gave her some astronomical number, and she said yes, and gave me the most money I've ever seen in my life. And at that time I said, well, I'd be stupid not to take it. I got to buy a house. I got to take care of my ladies. And so I took the job. Fast forward 5 years, I got fired. And she let me go. Man, she fired me back in 2016. So her business was here. Mine was here. She fired me in 2016, said, thanks for everything. I'll see you later. She found cheaper help because I helped set everything up for 5 years. She found somebody who could do it for way cheaper, and that was it. So 2016, you know, down the dumps for 2 weeks. My wife smacked me around and said, you know, get your, like, let's go, man. You're Freddy Vasquez. Let's do some stuff. My friend Russell Farbiers, who's out here, he's a great lawyer. He took me to networking meetings, and the rest is history, man. That was it.
Well, you know, I love to talk about grit, and at American Crane, it's something we always talk about. Grit matters, and perseverance, heart, integrity, this idea of overcoming obstacles. I mean, you are very gritty, I will say. I mean, having overcome all of those different challenges, and that's, but the universe kind of has a way of leading us to, you know, where we're meant to be.
Absolutely.
And on that thread, I mean, I feel like, especially from our experience here, and you know, knowing some of the people you have working for you, your mantra, which I love, let's create something awesome today. I mean, I feel like certainly have found your sweet spot, and you've landed in an amazing place. Or I would say there's a lot of hard work, I bet, that has gotten to you to the point where you're at now today.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you know, I'm nothing without my team. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right out of the gate. Joe and Heather and Paige and Karina, and of course my wife. My wife keeps it all together. I'm nothing without them. But before all that, before I had the opportunity to even hire one person, it was tons of hard work, long hours. I remember stopping at about 5 or 6, having dinner with the family, hung out with them till about 9 when they went to bed, and then I just went back to work. You know, maybe I went to bed at 2, maybe I went to bed at 5, maybe I didn't go to bed. And I'm very proud of all that, because hard work, just hard work, got me to where I was, to where I had the opportunity to even, you know, have my first office, which took my brand to another level. Buying this building took my brand to another level. And that's when the real magic started to happen. So being gritty, you know, always, you know, just facing adversity, you know, with just on your feet, you know, great things are going to happen. And then I found some people, you know, and then holy cow, man, when you don't have to do everything yourself or think yourself, being creative is rough, man. And it only goes so far. But you get one other brain in there, it's amazing. Then you get 6.
Amplifier, right?
Forget about it. We're nuts over here, you know, and we have a great time doing it. It's awesome.
I think we have a lot of parallels in our businesses and paths, and I think this idea around people is one of, you know, my values, and something I've always leaned into, is that people are the most important part of your business, right? They really are. No matter whether you're making cranes, doing digital awesomeness, or, you know, any other type of business out there, it really comes down to people.
It's always the people. I can't do anything without them. You know, you mentioned at the beginning of our little episode here, you mentioned the GRCA awards that we both, you know, won this year, which is
we should just
amazing.
pull them out. I mean, should we do like a whoop whoop? Like, this is pretty awesome.
These are great. I never thought in my wildest imaginations that I would have somebody give me an award for anything, you know, let alone my business, you know. So, and I have like my own moments, you know, because I loved this when I got this. I was so proud of it. And, you know, I sat there and I just thought to myself, I was like, dang, dude, you were broke as crap. I'm not going to curse in your podcast. You were broke as crap. We can bleep it. And, you know, I sat there. I remember just the hours upon hours upon hours, and just somebody actually recognize what we're doing here, you know. which is amazing. But people are like the greatest thing. You know, I mean, I love people in general. I'm definitely an extrovert. I love meeting people. I'm a people pleaser. I'm terrible at that stuff. I just, and then when you find a team that is just so great at everything that they do, and what I really love about our team is that the first test, if you will, that we give anyone is the vibe check.
Ooh.
Like, can you even hang out with us? Like, how sensitive are you? Because not that we're bad people, but like we like to just, screw with each other.
You got a
we like to
culture.
make fun of each other. I mean, Joe, he's like got the biggest target on his back, but he's so cool with it, because it's all done out of love. Because my dad taught me that years ago. Because my sisters would bring home guys to meet him. And so they'd go up to him. My dad would shake the hand and go, "Oh, how you doing?" And that'd be the end of that conversation. Or he would mess around with him and pull pranks or just make fun of him. And that's when you knew my dad actually liked the guy, as opposed to he didn't like the guy and he didn't want to piss off his daughters. He'd just be like, "Hi, how you doing?" And that'd be the end of the conversation. He'd be cordial. So we do that here. We see, can they hang with us? Can they be down with us? Do they have the same, spirit as us? And what we find is that when you have all these people that align with you well together in the same room and everybody gets along well, there's absolutely nothing you can't accomplish. And that's what we've done here. And the crazy thing is that, honestly, I think I had my first hire in 22 or 23. So we're only talking about 3 years here. So 3-4 years, we've taken this place from just me sitting behind a desk, trying not to work, 120 hours, to awards and great photo shoots and people recognizing the brand and the fun that we have. And it's all because of them.
And phenomenal work that you guys do. Like the
you.
quality of the work, the vibe and this culture that you've created is evident. And it's evident in our community. I think you have done a really great job of you have to create the team that actually can do all the work, but then branding and communicating that out to other people. I mean, I feel like you're a brand aficionado, not just because it's the work you do, but you're doing it to, attract customers, but also, like you said, attracting the right employees. And I don't know, the thoughts around that. Do you feel, I feel like we both have worked on our own personal brands.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that I'm actually very intentional. I know you're intentional too. And do you have any thoughts around the importance of that and just sort of, as the brand aficionado, tips or things for people that might be listening to think about?
I think number one, you have to treat your brand as a priority. And people don't. They think that what they do is fine. What they do is good enough. I put a post up on social 2 years ago. I'm covering my bases. It's like, they don't really respect it at all. They don't see the value in it. They see the value in making a sales call and hopefully closing the business. What I've learned is that when your branding is priority and you make it just elevated, people start to pay attention, number one. But number two, the biggest thing is if you have a superior brand, people will see it subconsciously and know that you're going to take care of them because of how much you're taking care of yourself. If you can't even take care of yourself that well, you're not going to give a crap about me. Why should I give you anything? Why should I pay you any amount of money? Why should I give you any of my business when you can't even take care of yourself, right? So when you can take care of yourself and you show that your brand is elite, subconsciously everyone's going to trust you. Then you look like a leader in your industry. Then you end up becoming, for lack of a better term, the Gucci or the Louis Vuitton of that industry. Nobody can touch you. I've seen all your stuff. I've seen all the Karen Norheim stuff on LinkedIn, all the podcasts you're on, all the awards you're winning, all the speeches you do. Who's better than you, right? And the mindset that's out there, who's better than you? If somebody needs anything that has to do with your services or wants to speak to a woman who's elite in her industry, they're going to call you because that's the brand you set for yourself. I'm trying to do the same thing in my realm right here. I'm trying to be the only person you need to think of when it comes to digital marketing in our space. But there's only one way to do that. And that's to be superior at branding, treating every little thing that you put out there as the most important thing you'll ever share with someone. Nothing can be just halfway. It has to be 120% better than the other person. And when you get that vibe out there, everyone will see it, everyone will respect it. And honestly, I'm sitting across from you right now, right? Freddy Vasquez from Queens. Nobody
Are you
special.
trying to blow me up here? Because
It's just seen from across from you.
I think you'd call me Gucci, which I've never been. I'm like, I'm the Gucci. That feels pretty cool. And but yeah, no, I feel like equally honored to be here with you. So
Right, I appreciate that.
yeah,
But like-mindedness and the same positive energy, it attracts each other.
definitely.
And the fact that I even get to work with American Crane, for me personally, is like, holy crap, who the hell am I?
Well, and I know on our journey to working together, my marketing team, Michelle came and interviewed you, and it was your branding. It was communicating your values, right? And it was you had said once in an article that I read that really what you're doing here at your company is storytelling, and that marketing is just the tool. Well, in that process, you story told to our team what it was you were going to deliver. You were communicating the kind of quality that you bring. You were communicating the fun and the grit, which really aligns with who we are. And we made a choice on that, and that choice was fantastic. And it's absolutely part of why the union between us happened. So it's pretty awesome. And yeah, it's important. You're right that a lot of people don't think about it. So we're talking on our branding on the business level, and I think we've alluded a little bit to branding on the personal level. For me, I think there was a speaker early on in my career. I was at a conference, and there happened to be somebody on the stage who was talking about personal branding and how important it is, and how to show up, and kind of how to know what you stand for and how to communicate that. Do you have any tips or tricks on that side for like people if they're thinking about not just their business brand, but themselves? And because not everybody has a company like we do.
Sure.
Like what do you think could be channeled in that direction to help them be intentional too?
So that's a great question. I've actually been thinking about that myself the past few weeks, and I'm thinking, well, what's worked for you, man? I was like, right. So I think the one thing that I've noticed is that everybody has something that's recognizable, right? And I think you need to really work on that, in my opinion. And that would be like, okay, so for me, I talk to a lot of people, and when I was doing my rebrand of my business, because I did a rebrand a few years ago, they told me that, you're the brand. And they're like, well, you're the brand, man. And this is back when it was just me here still. I was like, okay, so what does that mean? I'm like, all right, well, it's not just being, happy and always out there and extroverted, but like people's like, what they see here. So he was like, the glasses you wear, you can never change your glasses. That's like your thing.
They're cool.
Yeah, I like them.
I like it.
I made a new logo that featured, everything but the plugs in my ears. And he pointed it out, my good friend, Dr. Bill. He's like, well, what are your plugs? And I'm like, well, I didn't think it was professional. Put that in there. He's like, no, dude, that's like part of your thing, right? And then eventually this beard became part of it. And this is my barber's doing. It wasn't even me. He stopped cutting it. He's like, we got to let this thing grow out for a bit.
Good looking.
Yeah, so, thank you. So to answer your question, I think the first step is to see what makes you unique. Sometimes it is what you wear, the way your hair looks, the way your facial hair, if you have any, might look. I obviously follow a lot of guys, like Gary Vee is one of them. The things I always see with Gary Vee is always wearing those caps, and the guy curses a lot. But that's like his two things that he does, outside of even the knowledge that comes out of his mouth, So you go through all these things, like, even for me, like Shark Tank, I love watching, I forgot her name. I think her first name's Lori. She does all the QVC.
Yes.
You ever notice how she wears like the same dress every time for the most part? It might change a little bit, but just take a look at the style of dress that she wears.
Didn't notice that.
What? Go through it.
Great example of subtlety that is definitely playing on our human psychology and our brain. So interesting.
I could point her out in 2 seconds by the dresses she's wearing. And I look at that, I'm like, wow, she always wears the same kind of dress every time. So I say you want to start with something like that too, just separate yourself from everybody else. Because I've learned that just by the photos we take for Berks County Living. We do photos the past 3 years, the face of issues, And I said, we'll never be like everybody else who just stands there and smiles. And this year it was actually, confirmed because I just met somebody on Monday from City Council. And he was like, oh, hey, I know you. I saw you in the magazine, and you guys were doing something that nobody else did.
Is this the bowling picture?
Yes, the bowling
I freaking
photo.
love that. It's on your website too, and it was in the article I was looking at. And those pictures, and those are your pictures for anybody listening.
Website.
Yeah, on the website in your About Us. I love it. I love the humor. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's very important. And I learned that a while ago because I actually lost work by having an inferior About Us page on a website.
Interesting.
I lost to there was a company in San Francisco looking to hire us, and we came in second to this other company. I did my due diligence. I said, hey, listen, thank you for giving us a shot. What did I do wrong and what can I improve on? And he literally said, all your work was great, but your About Us page was terrible. And I was like, what are you talking about? I went to the website and I was like, okay, well, maybe he's right. I guess I could have did better. But that one thing right there told me that human factor is huge. Branding is huge. Now, when you work with us and you go to that About Us page, which coincidentally is the second or third most visited page on a website, they're going to see who you are.
Yeah.
And now we're going to look like a bunch of bowlers, you know, from the movie Kingpin.
I think it's
but we're having a great time. But how do you not look at that and go, oh, I want to work with those dudes?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's true whether your product is something that you're directly working with consumers or business to business like we're doing, or even equipment like this. There's a human psychology behind this
Big
that
time.
is, you know, I'm sure there's studies. We know it's proven because this is things that we do in our world for sure. The other piece of that, I mean, it's all kind of paid off because you're getting these testimonials now out. And honestly, what a gift that you, for asking that customer that you lost, right?
Yeah.
Like what a gift that feedback is. And to
time.
be able to take an action on that.
You have to ask, why didn't this work out? I mean, I need to learn. You're going to be learning till, you know, you call it a day, right? Like you're forever learning. I still learn things today. My staff teaches me things. I need to know why I didn't win at certain things. And when I ask them that, I get this feedback that you'll never be told, because I learned that growing up. You know, I was in a band for 15 years. Okay. And you ask people, how do we do? You guys are great. You guys are great. But then I remember the flip side when I would go see my friends' bands and some of them were terrible. And I'd be like, you guys were awesome, man. That first song, forget about it. It was the best thing I ever heard. People are just going to fill you full of smoke. You know, so when I physically, you know, call you out in a way and just say, hey, what did I do wrong? Please tell me. A lot of times people just let me know, like, well, it was too much or this or that. But this was like one of the best pieces of advice I ever got.
That's great.
When he said, your About Us page is just lacking. And I was like, crap, man, human factor and brand is enormous. And I mean, I can definitely say for certain, like 8 times, 9 times out of 10 of all the work we get, a lot of it just stems from just our vibe, how we respect ourselves, or respect our clients, and just the relationships you build. Because any relationship you have in your life, when it is just like top notch, only greatness is going to come out. And when you have any little rift in that, it's not going to be good.
Absolutely. And our job, right, as owners or presidents, CEOs, whatever, we own the responsibility of the reputation, which is, you know, the brand, as well as the culture, which is your vibe, and making sure that all of that stays on point so that you can, you know, be out there and getting the work. I feel like it's part of our job. Like branding really it is part of our job. It's not just creating the pieces, right? It's being able to communicate that storytelling about who we are and why people might want to work with us.
Yeah, we're essentially the brand ambassadors.
Yes.
Like first and foremost.
Absolutely.
You know, how we carry ourselves helps our personal brand, sure. But we almost have the opportunity to do that because of where we come from. You know, so it's like, yeah, I'm Freddy Vasquez from FXV Digital Design. So like, how is that hanging out? You know, and if I can't make that just 100%, it's going to be detrimental to everything that we're doing. So branding. I'm huge on it. Huge. Like I hope that in my next, you know, chapter of life, it's literally just consulting on branding. Like I would just love to do that for people. Just say, you need to do A, B, C, D, and E, you know, and if until you don't do this, don't come back to me.
I think you would be giving people a gift of a lot of great insights. On this similar thread, I mean, I think we can say branding and these pieces are definitely keys to your success. Is there anything else when you think about your company's growth? And, you know, we know our awards were related to growth in our businesses. You know, what else is out there, or what else do you think has contributed to that success?
Risk.
Yeah.
Risk taking. Just you can't be afraid. You know, I like to use the my pool analogy, you know, with people and kids. I talk to these entrepreneurial classes every year. I tell them, we just got to jump in the pool, right? I'm like, but hear me out. hot day, you're there with your family, you walk up to the pool. The first thing you do is put your toe in, and you're like, oh, it's cold. And you put a little bit more in. Oh, my goodness, I can't get in. This goes on for what, 20, 30 minutes till you're finally in the pool. And then when you're finally in the pool and you're hanging out having a good time, oh, this is great. This is nothing. It feels awesome. You know what would have happened if you just jumped in? In about 20 seconds, you'd have been like, oh, this is great. This is fine. Yeah, because that's just being a human being. Okay? So you have to put yourself in situations that suck, that you have to be afraid, right? If you're not afraid, you're not doing anything worth talking about. Okay?
Great.
I was scared out of my wits doing this, like just building a MySpace page. Wait, I don't have to go to work today and get the money I know that's going to come in every week, right? I went and got an office. I was so comfortable working in my home for so many years. I had no overhead. And I said to myself, if you're ever going to grow, man, you have to take a risk. So I literally doubled my bills in one day by renting an office, right? And I was like, well, what are you going to do now? Are you going to sit here and hope things happen, or are you going to make things happen? So I jumped in the pool. And guess what? In a few seconds, I was used to the water. That was 2017. By 2019, I owned the building. And when I went to go buy the building, I emptied out my bank account. And that is not a joke. My bank account said zero. Zero. I took everything out, gave it right to the person that bought the building. I signed some papers, sat out front, smiled, took a picture with my wife and my dog, and said, well, here we go again. And all I did was I charged a crap ton of credit cards. I had plastic coming out everywhere, maxed out, grand opening. My wife thought I was nuts. You're spending so much money and everything. What are you going to do? You are insane. You're spending too much money. Then the grand opening happened, and everybody and their mom showed up. People that were just in the neighborhood walking by. I got jobs from that because people were driving by going, what is going on over there?
Amazing.
And at the end of that day, Karen, let me tell you, at the end of that day, my favorite memory of all time, me and my wife were in the front conference room. Everybody was gone. Doors are locked. And she looks at me. She goes, now I know why you do what you do. And that just
Amazing.
That just made everything for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not crazy.
No.
I just got to take a risk. And it's going to work out because I believe it's going to work out.
You had a vision, you executed, you stayed with it, even when, your wife is saying, hey, is this the best idea? And, you took that risk and it's paid off.
Yeah.
It's a great example of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And I feel like that's a muscle we can exercise and get better at. I don't know if you feel the same way, right?
Sure, absolutely.
There's sort of that, on a small scale, it's it might be just that tension, like the few 5 seconds before you jump in the pool, right? Or versus not, is such a great analogy. But yeah, like the more we can be okay with that, and then that leads to us being able to take bigger risks and other pieces. I mean, I agree. It's so important for a success and grow, and for kind of amplifying that flywheel, right? To get it keep going. And amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
You talked a little bit in there about the pool analogy, which actually leads me to something else I wanted to ask you about. So you, I think, went to a local high school and happened to run into my nephew.
Yeah,
right?
Joey.
Yeah. So tell me about, it could be that experience, but then also you do a lot of outreach, and part of your sort of, if you mentioned your networking and meeting people, but also it's giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, Joey just was a happy accident. I went to his high school. One of the teachers actually knows a friend of mine, and she put me in touch with him and said, hey, he needs a speaker for his class. I think it was some sort of entrepreneurial class. I said, yeah, what the hell? I like that stuff. I like doing it. So went and did it. Did the class. Interesting group of kids. Some of them are cool. Some of them are like, I'm just waiting for the period to end.
Yeah, 15-year-olds, right? I'm sure it's fun,
it was cool.
Crazy energy.
Yeah, it was cool. I did my thing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of here. Teacher said, thanks a lot. And I was like, can you have somebody just walk me back? I just don't know where I am. This place is huge. He's like, yeah. And then I think Joey raised his hand. He's like, you're welcome back. I'm like, all right. During that speech, I talked about American Crane. I brought it up. I was like, yeah, one of the, best clients we have now is American Crane. I went from some guy making MySpace pages to working for this multi-million-dollar company that's doing all these great things. For me, it's wild, this great trip I'm on. He's like, so you said that you worked for American Crane. And I'm like, yeah, they're great clients. He's like, oh, my mom works there. Like, my mom works there. After I find out who his mom is, right? He's like, and my aunt works there. I'm like, who's your aunt? Who's your mom? And I go, Stephanie. I'm like, Stephanie. I'm like, you mean like Karen's sister, Stephanie? He's like, yeah, Karen's my aunt. I'm like, oh, so your dad is, we're going through the whole thing. I was like, wow, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, what's funny? I was like, I never met your mom or your aunt. I was like, I've been working for them for, I think, over a year now. I've only met Michelle and Aaron. And we had a cool little talk, and he got me back to the office. And it was cool just to, like, vibe with him, and just talk with him and see, like, how he was hoping to, like, do certain entrepreneurial things as he got older. Then I ran into him again at the dinner, which was awesome. And I was like, what's up, man? I think he grew in the little span of time that I saw him, because I was going like this, what's up, man?
Oh, yeah. Height-wise, yeah, he definitely keeps growing. We're all now shorter than Joey. And you made such an impression. I mean, he was talking about you and was so excited about this story between the time you saw him at the school till us being at that dinner together.
Wow,
yeah,
so cool.
like, I mean, so we heard all about it, and I think that's the power. I mean, it's a small world, one, but two, like, we could see the ripple effect you had by inspiring with your story on Joey, and just think about all the other kids in that room, and who knows who you touched. And I know you do this in other schools and other things that you reach out on, and it's so wonderful, because by being role models, it's something I really believe in. We create these ripple effects, and we just never know who we're going to touch and how that's going to play back. And we know that there were people that rippled to us, right, and inspired us. So kudos.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just, a lot of it stems from just, my upbringing. My parents were amazing. My mom, my dad taught me hard work, but my mom taught me how to love. That was what my mom did. And, my parents were poor, both of them, but growing up in their families. My mom was one of 10. My dad was one of 8.
Oh, wow. Big families.
Wild families, man. Big wild families.
Good family reunions or parties, I would think.
They're wild, yeah. So, and you hear stories about how, like, my Uncle John would actually steal bread to feed, like my mom's part of the family and things like that. And then growing up, like my mom's family would get a lot of help from the local churches and the local nuns. So you tend to just realize, like, oh, man, if it wasn't for this help they were getting, who knows where they would be. So as I got older and I've grown more fortunate, I mean, number one thing was, well, what are we doing to give back? And that's why we started the toy drive. We do a toy drive every year. And it's Berks County businesses helping out Berks County kids. It's grown to the point where we're doing this in conjunction with 40 other small businesses in the area. It's 40 of us, collecting gifts for kids, local Berks County kids. Not that there's anything wrong with helping out the whole world.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
I love impact, like the impact you can feel in your community.
Yeah, it feels good. And, we're talking about Concern for Kids, Opportunity House, Mary Shelter, Children's Home of Reading, all these great organizations. We collect every year for them to make sure those kids have, something to look forward to. And I implore everybody out there, if you're listening to this, please check out what's going on in your local community, because a lot of the requests as these kids make, they're not toys.
Right.
Everybody thinks right away they want toys. No, it's literally toiletry bags or backpacks or T-shirts or underwear, because they have nothing, absolutely nothing.
And don't you think it's when number one, I think we both do the outreach pieces in our companies and in our lives because we believe in it. We just want to pay it forward for all of the things and people who have lifted us over the years. But it also, I mean, it's great for your employees. It's great for your business. It's great for networking. Like, there's no reason not to do it, right? Like, it's a lift all the way around for everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you lift yourself. Just from a personal standpoint, the fact that I can give something to somebody, if I can feed them, I can clothe them, I can make them happy for a few moments. I mean, that's it.
It's a good feeling.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel like, to quote Roberto Clemente, he said it. He said that if you're put on this earth to help people and you don't, you're wasting your time. And that's why he's right here. It was Roberto Clemente. Because of everything that he did. I mean, the man lost his life being philanthropic. That's what he did.
Oh, wow.
Crashed on a plane on, I believe it was New Year's Eve, going to help out people in, I want to say the Dominican Republic, please, if I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But he got on the plane because he found out that they were stealing the food before it was getting to the people who needed it. So he went on the plane to make sure it got there. The plane went down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's wild. He lost his life helping people. So that's what we have to do as human beings. Having businesses are great. Having accolades are amazing. I love what we've built here. But at the end of the day, you have to help your fellow man. That's what you should be doing to make everyone be able to have just a little piece of just peace, if anything, on this planet that we hang out on. So,
agreed. And so, is there someone in your journey? We're talking about lifting up others, right? We're talking about lifting up our communities. Is there anyone who lifted you that over the course of your journey that really sticks out?
Oof. I mean, the number one answer is my wife. She's just everything to me. She's my world. I love my parents. They had me going.
We usually
in the
do. I mean, most of us, not all, but
they instilled values, I guess you could say. But when it came time to, absolutely. But when it came time to the nitty gritty, who's my number one fan? Who believes in me the most? It's my wife, Jill. I'm nothing without her. So she's the rock. She's, she makes sense. She's common sense. She puts me in my place in a good way. It's like, hey man, you should be zigging instead of zagging on this one.
It's good to have a truth speaker in your world, right?
And that's why she's the real boss. She runs this place now.
Well, thank you, Jill, for lifting you up and helping you on this amazing journey, and taking you to where you are. Is there something when you have a lot of fire? I can tell you have a lot of passion. Like, I actually think we could just keep talking, shooting the you might have to bleep that out.
I own the place. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, good. So what really fuels your fire? Like, or is there, any sort of chemistry or things that you even do if you ever get sort of, even people sometimes think that, because we're owners or because, I tend to be a very upbeat person. I know you probably tend to be an upbeat person, but we have moments. Everybody has moments where they're tired and they need to kind of lift themselves up and kind of re-spark that. Is there anything that you do or anything that just kind of energizes you?
I guess, what it is, man? For me, it's, I still get a kick out of people seeing things that we do and just giving me like a smile and going like, wow, that is awesome, man. And I'm like, yeah, it is, right? Like, that's pretty cool, man. Like we're given these opportunities to do these great projects around town, and we all work really hard on them as a team. And when we see the reaction from people, they give us their testimonials or just their pure gut, like, yo, that is awesome, or the comments people leave, that just makes it all better.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, I don't want to be a downer, but I think it stems from growing up for me. Like, growing up was rough. School sucked. Kids are cruel.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that, right? So when you're beaten down for so many years, and told all this negative, to get a little bit of positive, you tend to want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
But then I realized when you become adults, it's a little different, but now I seek, I guess, maybe, the approval of people when it comes to like a professional standpoint because of the work we do. So when they just give me that pure reaction of like, dude, that is so cool. That's so awesome. Even you yelling, just almost yelling right now, saying that bowling picture, that was amazing. I'm like, hell yeah, it was. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, well, just with those those little sparks, right, can mean so much, and it's I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
Please and thank you go a long way in life.
They do.
And when you're, when you're at a Wawa or something like that, next time just tell somebody, good morning, I hope you have a great day. Because this one woman did that to me about a couple years ago. She looked at me, she's like, good morning, I hope you have a great day. And I looked at her, I said, you don't know how much I needed that today. Oh. I said, thank you very much. So just a little bit of positives that you can put in people's, lives every day. You'd be surprised. You'll never know what you're going to hit.
Smile makes you feel good too, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Less muscles to smile than there's a lot more muscles to frown, right?
That's I think that's what
there's a saying somewhere.
Something about that.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of wrap us up here a little bit, we've had. Actually, I have another question for you.
Do it.
Okay. So you've said that you might be a little Viking, and that you're headed possibly to Norway, and we know my father is from Norway.
Yes.
And one of my favorite places. So just tell me a little bit about being a little Viking and anyway, just your excitement about heading to Norway and that piece.
Yeah, 23 and me said I had a little Viking in me.
Awesome.
I was like, all right, I got this email. They're like, hey, we're getting deeper into DNA. So you have like the smallest percentage of a Viking something like descent. And I'm like, get out of here. I was like, you telling me I got a little bit of that in me?
I like to say that to be successful in life and in business, you have to be a Viking. And I would say that you are all Viking. You epitomize, I like to say that you have to be a gardener, right? We got to invest in ourselves, invest in our people, go through the grind, be gritty, keep going, cycling through the seasons. You have to be a warrior. You've got to train in your craft. You got to be so good at what you're doing that you can do it without thinking. And then when the battles arrive, you got to go, right? You got to jump in the pool, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And then last, you have to be a storyteller, and like the stories you tell yourself, which obviously you've told amazing stories to take yourself from your upbringing and some of those difficulties growing up, and even obstacles along your way to get you to where you are today, and then telling the story to your employees and your family, and that whole storytelling of what you do about your business. So to me, you're all Viking.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So Freddie, thanks for bringing the energy, honesty, and insights here to Always Lifting. And your story is really proof that you lead with passion and purpose. And I think the lift is real. And you've lifted everyone around you. And thanks for taking the time to be with me today.
Well, Karen, thanks for having me on your show, man. It's an honor, straight up honor. Thank you very much.
Freddie is an absolute creative powerhouse. What a fun conversation. Check out the show notes for more information on Freddie and FXV Digital. Remember to subscribe to the podcast and always lift.